No,
we were there last weekend.
Online, from being a former probation officer. People get started in about 30 seconds, please. Sentence of what the time is not. So a lot of people don't understand it's not.
her integrity, and then
I'm gonna be your mom.
Right.
don't go in there.
Hi, Mom.
I'm Allie.
I'm gonna get your medicine.
Welcome everyone to the Evans Redevelopment Agency meeting for September 7th. I call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Chairman Rudy?
Here.
Vice Chair Clark?
Here.
Commissioner Spear?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Present.
Commissioner Neal?
Present.
Commissioner Castle?
Here. Thank you. Are there any changes to the agenda? Entertain the motion. I move to approve the agenda.
I second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those nay. Motion passes. Next item, consent agenda. Approval of the May 4th, 2021 Evans Redevelopment Agency meeting minutes. I move to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
Motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those nay. Motion passes. Next item, new business. Consideration of contract for Highway 85 landscape design services. We'll hear from staff.
Here, this item is to follow up on a project that's been in the works for some time. As council is, we did turn mics off after the last meeting, so if they're off at the dais, turn them back on. They're back on. Okay. This is the next step in the beautification project for Highway 85. Done some visioning for this a couple years ago. We've been working. We had to defer funding for a year. We brought that back last spring. The council reassessed and I believe reprioritized this project as part of the efforts to incentivize development along the Highway 85 corridor. So in the springtime, talking about budget revisions, the council allocated $100,000 for design, which is the next step toward construction of these improvements that the council has seen before. And with that, I'll turn it over to our Economic Development Director, Allison Modi, who will talk a little bit more about the project and the consultants that we have been in conversation with and the recommendation for moving forward.
Absolutely. Much anticipated opportunity to start a design project on Highway 85. As you'll recall, this was one of the 5 recommendations from the 2018 visioning process, was to focus on beautification of the corridor. I will comment, originally we had anticipated that our kind of our prototype section would be a little bit further to the south, but with all the activity we're seeing at the intersection here at 31st Street and Highway 85, it makes sense to put our efforts here to begin. So back in June, we issued an RFP seeking landscape design architects that had specific experience working with CDOT right-of-way projects, and we received 2 very competitive proposals. In fact, I think there was a difference of about $410 between the two proposals. The 2 companies, Ayers Associates and Landmark EPC out of Loveland, were our 2 bidders. We did recommending the selection of Ayers and Associates for a couple of reasons. They have a staff member who is experienced, in fact was a CDOT employee for a number of years, which really is important to us as we're working on this project exclusively in the right-of-way. I will point out the map up at on the screen. That area goes about 300 feet north and about 350 to 400 feet to the south. It basically covers the area that runs from the ERA property boundary on the south up to the area just north of the Come and Go and the building there to the north. So kind of as you're coming into the Evans area. So kind of jumping all over the place. Sorry, this is very exciting. The second factor, Ayers Associates, we've done work, as many of you are familiar, there are master plan consultants as well. And so having that experience with them and knowing that they have been a good partner to work with on that master planning process as well is important. And then the third thing I would point out were the examples that they provided in their proposal really were closer, I think, to what we are looking for in our process. The other proposal had a couple of commercial, more developments that really aren't pertinent to what we're looking for. And so essentially our plan is to get rolling on the landscape design process if within the next couple of weeks, as soon as we get contract documents signed, looking at 5 to 6 months to do all that design work, prepare the bid documents and get things ready to bid when the time is right. And so at this point, I would say that we would recommend awarding the landscape design contract to Ayers Associates in the amount of $72,383 under budget. Which is under our budget of $100,000.
I'll just mention, we're taking bites of this. You know, there had been talk of a long prototype section that could cost a couple $1 million to build, even the prototype section. I think this is a way that we can focus on an area that we know has some activity and that we really are trying to optimize now and give us a pilot for what we can do. Right now, we really don't know what some of these improvements will cost. When you talk about installing guardrail, raised medians, some bushes, and how that has to work. Also working with CDOT. So I think this is the recommended approach gives us a few hundred feet on either side of an intersection that we're actively trying to advance. So this would be a smaller bite than we talked about before. We don't envision the construction cost being nearly as high, but it will give us, I think. One of the themes we've heard from council is let's do something, move forward with something, and get a feel for what we can do for the money. So with that, that concludes our remarks, Mayor.
Thank you. Questions of staff or comments?
I have none.
Which one is the one that worked for CDOT?
His name was David Silverhorn. Was the employee's name with Ayers and Associates.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Nope, I don't think so.
Anyone else? Not else, I entertain a motion.
I move to award the Highway 85 landscape design contract in the amount of $72,383 to Ayers and Associates.
Second.
Motion and second to award the Highway 85 landscaping design contract to Ayers and Associates in the amount of $72,383. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Adjourn the ERA. We will go back.
Aye.
Mr. Brad.
All right. I move to go into an executive session to receive legal advice from the city attorney on specific legal questions related to the enforcement of the city's business license and other related code provisions, and to get legal advice on specific questions related to the intergovernmental agreement with the Eric Evans Fire District in accordance with CRS 24-6-402, Section 4, subsection B and D.
Second.
Motion and second, go into executive session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. We'll go to executive in 5 minutes to let Tammy say goodbye to her mom.
Yeah. Probably wants us to take a picture, Mom.